Hello, everybody, and welcome to Harry and Jen Do Horror with Friends. On this podcast, we pick newish horror films, we analyze them, we talk about their messaging and their meaning, what we got out of them, we critique them, we talk about what works for us, what does not, and we discuss them generally with a buddy who may or may not know a thing or two about the subject matter. This month, Jen and I sit down with our friend Vinny Mancuso to chat about Cannibal Mukbang. We discuss cheeseburgers, the manic pixie dream girl, near-death experiences, and how best to eat our fellow man. You should know that on this podcast, we completely spoil our movies. So if you have not seen Cannibal Mukbang yet, be sure to check it out first and come back to us. We've gotten a lot of nice feedback on this show over the 3 years that we've been doing it, and I want to thank everyone who's taken a moment to rate and review us. People have really shown up on Spotify and YouTube in particular, and one platform we could use a little more support on is Apple Podcasts. So if you happen to be hearing us through Apple, please consider helping us out. Write a nice review, throw some stars our way. Doing so helps people find our show, and even more so, it just feels good knowing that you enjoyed a thing that we made. Next month, we will discuss Scream 7. In that one, Ghostface returns to once again stalk Sidney Campbell and her family. Things get nostalgic when the killer is rumored to be none other than Stu Macher back from the dead. More on that next month. For now, here's Vinny, and let's talk about Cannibal Mukbang. She's like, these meatballs are so juicy. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they are juicy, aren't they?
Oh my god.
Hi everybody, my name is Harry Nichols. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm an English teacher. I'm a dad of two small humans. I am a cheeseburger enthusiast. I'm going to go with that today. People often ask me, not often, but they sometimes ask me, like if you're on death row, what's your last meal? I think it would be just like a good fucking cheeseburger with bacon on it and some fries on the side and a beer. If they'll give me a beer in prison, I don't know.
I mean, if it's your last meal,
yeah,
what are they going to do? Are they going to say no?
Right, exactly. Right, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping
it might
that
be a
they
shitty
would.
beer, but
Yeah, it'd be the best beer of your life. It's the last beer you ever have.
So true. Yeah, yes. Honestly, sometimes the shitty beers are even better, though, right? In that context. But my main gripe about bad burger making is when they dry it out. It's not hard to make a burger that is not dry. I will die on this hill. Because, if I can do it, you can do it, chef. And so, tonight I was at a restaurant and I had a dry burger and I'm mad about it. Sorry, that's my...
Are you a believer in like wider, not taller? That's my only burger thing. Is like they're making when they make them better in their eyes, they're just like the sandwich gets bigger, but it should actually be getting wider. Because I want more burger. I don't want more topping.
I do agree with that. However, I will say I'm not like smash burger is a big thing right now. I'm not really here for that exactly. I don't know. Like, just making it thinner is not.
Keep it burger shaped.
Yeah, exactly.
But expand.
Yeah.
Do not smash, expand.
you guys are crazy.
Okay,
I love a smash burger.
But wait, who the fuck are you? Who are you?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Hi.
you brought up burgers. It's something I care
burger.
very much about.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Lightfoot. I'm an artist and tattoo artist, and I also love a burger. It's probably one of my favorite foods. There's a bit of a faux pas with how I like my burgers, though. I like it well done, and I like look on Harry's face right now.
Honestly, really unfortunate.
I like it well done, and I want to make sure that the animal's been killed a few times. I just want to know that it's dead. Not really. That's just what I joke with it. But I do want toppings. I want to feel like I'm eating something that's really bad for me, and so the toppings add to that.
Well, I guess certain toppings probably do that, right?
I was gonna say, so I'm thinking like lettuce, tomato,
yeah,
both good for you. Onions, reasonably good for you. Really, the more toppings you have, the better the burger is for you. Unfortunately,
unless it's like fried onions.
Hell yeah.
And Or I had a burger with fried cheese on it. That was fucking awesome.
Damn.
So yeah, no, more fried things on top of
Oh
the
yeah, now we're talking.
unhealthy thing.
No, I'm into that. I am into that for sure. So we have a friend here, Vinny.
Hello.
Talk to us. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Vinny Mancuso. I am the senior editor of Backstage Magazine. I am the host of their podcast, In the Envelope, the Actors Podcast. I am a friend of the show through Jen's sister. I'm also a cheeseburger enthusiast. I don't know how deep we want to get right off the bat, but Jen, I do, when I think of Lightfoot and I think of cheeseburgers, I think about the time that I actively was choking on a cheeseburger in a Philadelphia bar, and Kim basically saved my life.
What?
I was like, so I don't. We're like 5 minutes into this podcast.
Let's go.
I don't know if we're at near death experience levels, but it was like a genuine like cross the X's, can't breathe type situation.
You were the poster.
Yeah, I was literally. Well, I wish I had seen the poster earlier in life because I wasn't really doing the X. I was doing the like, absolutely not calling for help. And Kim was there. And Kim is a doctor, and she leapt into action, and she really got it going. And then and then it was like halfway out, and then this other woman just sort of stepped in and was like, "I got this," and she like never got her name, don't know who she was. She said, "I got this." She got it the rest of the way up. And yeah, so needless to say, I love burgers, but
like you almost had your last burger. Like that would have been.
Yeah, I never really thought about this, but maybe that's why I feel so strongly about the not taller, wider, because that was a pretty tall burger, and it may be a little too tall for human swallowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So long story short, love cheeseburgers. Oh, the Lightfoot family, probably my life, and. I just like a no topping burger. Just give me the burger and some cheese. So,
oh my God.
Less of a choking hazard that way. That's what I was saying. That's what I've always said. Less of a choking hazard, the less toppings you have. So glad to be here. Literally, still glad.
Oh my God, I love that.
Like glad to be on the podcast and just glad to be here
on this earth,
on this mortal plane, and there's really only up from here. I think that's the only. Well, it's not the only near-death experience I have, but it's the only one directly related to like the people on this podcast and the topic at hand.
And is it the only one related to burgers?
Yes, thank God, because like I feel like I was like, okay, you get one choking incident per food. If it turns into 2, you might not need to eat that food anymore. 3 is like, all right, it's off the list. You cannot eat it anymore. I do remember like the next time I ate a burger, my wife was sitting across from me, just like staring me down. I was like, chew. I was like, I have successfully eaten so many burgers that one time I failed is now on my record for the rest of my life. So yeah, I believe that is my only burger-related near-death experience so far.
Wow. A caution to everybody, right?
A cautionary tale. Learn the Heimlich. Learn the self-Heimlich. Look at the poster.
Enjoy your burgers with caution, right? Enjoy responsibly.
Oh, yes, responsibly. I was going to say while you can, but...
right, yes, for sure.
And go out to eat with friends who have studied medicine.
Exactly. Surround yourself with doctors.
Perfect. I love that.
Burgers can lead us very well into the movie we're about to talk about.
That's right. So we're talking about Cannibal Mukbang. This is from 2023, correct?
Yeah, I thought it was 2025, and I was wrong.
No, that's okay. I mean, sometimes we go back.
It might be one of those situations where it was like it premiered at like Austin in 23, and then was just going to festivals for 2 years before it landed on like Tubi or wherever it is officially now. That's just it's that kind of movie where it's like it came out in 2023 because of one screening, but it's been coming out for probably the last 2 years.
Totally.
That's probably true because it is pretty low budget.
It's such an indie piece. Absolutely. Vinny, we tend to have our guest summarize in as many or as few words as you want what this movie is for the listener.
Well, it's funny because in 2 words, it's about a cannibal mukbang.
Yep, very good.
It's right off the bat. There is a woman named Ash, I believe, who hits a extremely mumbly man with her car, which kicks off a romance in which she finds out she is not only a mukbang performer, but a cannibal a cannibal mukbang, if you will. And then he joins her on her quest to kill and eat only bad men, which is pretty much what happens. And then the end of the film occurs, which I'm sure we will talk about. But that's, in my mind, what happens in this film.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
I struggle to get past the title. It's literally, it's about a cannibal mukbang. This really, there you go. It's right there in the tin.
You're absolutely right. And I think that speaks so much about, like, the style, or at least maybe we can say, like, the attempted style of this movie, which is kind of like a grindhouse B-movie aesthetic with a lot of it. And a lot of that stuff is, like, you know, they tell you right what it is, right? It's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I think that's, like, really in keeping with it. And that's a great point to, like, just, like, look at the title as what the movie is.
I mean, I appreciate it because, like, when you said, because I had never seen this movie, and when you were like, we're doing this movie called Cannibal Mukbang, like, right off the bat, I was like, oh, that's probably from, like, the 70s. You know, that's probably something that came out in, like you said, Grindhouse. And, like, I think you look at the poster, all that stuff, it was definitely 1,000%. So I was actually pleasantly surprised to discover they were still doing Cannibal Mukbang movies, you know, all the way in 2023 or 2025.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they kind of have like a meta moment where they're talking and they talk about like horror movies, and she says, "Oh, I love the B movies that are just like gore or whatever," and he's like, "Oh, but there's so much more about that. They're about life."
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like, the movie commenting on itself in a way.
Oh, I totally agree, because I think that, like, it's got this aesthetic of, like, a much more, like, sensationalist kind of grindhouse thing, but it is actually kind of, like, about some stuff. It's kind of like what he says, right? And whether it is successful in how that all goes, we'll obviously talk about. Maybe this might lead me to my question, which is about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. This is a trope. My question is this film critical of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope, or does it play into it, reproduce it, so on and so forth? And, like, it's before we do that, like, how familiar are you both with this concept?
I'm from New Jersey, so I grew up, you know, watching Garden State, which
Totally.
is like the and, like, I will say, when I first saw that movie, I was like, wow, if only I could meet someone like that. Because I was I don't know how old I was, but I was the age to be, like, just taken in by the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, like a tractor beam. It's like everything that aged person. And then you learn it's a trope, and then you see more of it, and you see maybe, you know, not the harmful nature of it, but, like, the fact that it is a trope, how it's being used, who it's being used by, you start to see that. So, you know, I was born in the Manic Pixie Dream Girl era, really. Not born in it, but, like, started watching movies in it. So it's something that. And then once you learn it's a trope, and if you're interested in what storytelling is, you become interested in what it means to be, you know, using it and why you would use it. But yeah, for me, patient zero, I guess you would call it, is Garden State, and it's
totally
all spawning from there.
No, that is such a great example.
I think I always think of Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah. And I love that movie, but continue. Yeah.
I know, I love that movie too. To be fair, though, I haven't seen it in many years, so I don't know if it still holds up in my book. But I also found the Manic Pixie Dream Girl very hot. And I know that there are problems with the trope as well, because it also falls into, like, the male fantasy, whatever.
Right.
But I think there was also something very, like, intriguing to me about it, as it being, like, also an alternative and quirky girl that, like, often, like, I mean, because the other trope is that often, like, the sensitive guy is into her.
Right.
So it's like, you know, that stereotype as well.
Yeah,
But
that's always. I mean, I think that's also thinking about this movie. What I find interesting, looking back on all of it, is, like, how often the Manic Pixie Dream Girl is across from, like, the empty vessel of a man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, the fact that she's so quirky and so you know, her hairs are so many different colors and stuff like that is because the guy across from her is, like, nothing, and, like, it's that's kind of, and he's like, she's coloring in how boring he is. And I actually think this movie, and I watching it again today was like, I hope this is on purpose, plays around with that kind of interestingly, both in, like, casting and performance, and the way it goes about its business.
Definitely.
Cannibal mukbang business.
Yes, no doubt. I think you're absolutely right in that, like, the Manic Pixie Dream Girl is a function of the male gaze. You have this kind of male protagonist who is, for whatever reason, in a rut, right? And then the manic pixie dream girl is like a vehicle to like get him out of the rut. And so it's still this like this totally like male centric thing, which is, you both alluded to like the criticisms of it. You have this character, this female character who is kind of flat and kind of like idealized and put on a pedestal, but not given any real dimension as a character, who mostly serves as like a plot vehicle, right, for this male protagonist. I guess, can we engage this question of how does this movie deal with the manic pixie dream girl? Is Ash a manic pixie dream girl, or what?
I mean, like I alluded to, like I do think this movie is not like full-blown parodying it, but there is a level, like there's a moment that really struck out to me today where the man whose name is
Maverick.
Maverick's the brother.
His name's
That
definitely
one?
not Maverick.
Maverick's the brother.
The brother's
Yeah.
name is Maverick.
Yeah.
But
His
his
name's
name is Mark.
Mark, yeah.
And it's just when he's telling her that he writes movie reviews, and I think you're alluding to it, and he just sort of says like he loves horror movies, and that's a big part of it because he found a girl who likes horror movies, and he's like, I think they're like, some people think they're about death, but like I think they're about life. It's like this classic like nothing of a statement, and she says, "I've never thought about it that way," which was like really fun to me because it's like he's like, "Yeah, I write movie reviews. You ever thought about how like scary movies are about like life?" And she's like, and like the man's dreams to hear a pretty girl say, "I've never thought about it that way," when he says something that's like not that interesting, and that like kind of that moment like unlocked it for me of like they're definitely at least playing with it, and that extends to his performance, which is I'm reading so many interviews with the director. She's like, I was specifically looking for someone with that like mumblecore energy, and he's just so mumbly and timid, and it's like it almost is like you're asking someone to do a parody of a manic pixie dream girl male protagonist.
Totally.
And again, I was watching, I was like, I hope this is all intentional because it's really working for me, but maybe it's what the movie wants.
It feels intentional, and I do feel like they are playing with the manic pixie trope because the one thing, because I watched it again today too, the one thing that I noticed too is when he wakes up right in the beginning, he gets hit by the car, he wakes up, and like the way they shoot the manic pixie dream girl room is like a horror movie. Like, I mean, it is a horror movie, but it's like that's like the like horrifying moment with like zooming in on things and like the music that's in the background. And then she comes in and she's so innocent and she cooks, and then she's like fucking crazy and she's kind of toxic. And like, I think she is kind of toxic. I don't know. I mean, she's like,
well, it's I mean, the whole thing is that the manic pixie dream girl gets a man out of his rut, and that's usually like being like, listen to this fun song, or like dance in the rain, and she's like, kill people and eat them, and it's like that you have, when it gets to that level, you're like, oh, they're using that trope to tell a horror story, which is really interesting. And it's like he only really becomes interesting as a person is when he starts killing and eating people, and it's like. And then you're like, well, he is more interesting though as a person now. But it's like that is it's taking all the same beats and being like, look, he's getting out of his rut, she's getting him out of his comfort zone, and that involves murder and killing people.
it's like the most extreme possible thing that technically is putting him in a different rut because it's like a crime. And it's also what kills him, I guess, in the end, sort of.
Yeah, he does get axed to death because of it. Because I mean, even getting out of his rut, it's. I think it's very interesting that after all of that, he still sides with his like genuinely like criminal brother, like
awful brother. Yeah,
like literally, they're like, I was like, oh, he's like a sex pest, and it's like, well, yeah, he also has like buried children and like dismembered people, and I was like, oh, he's like a really bad guy. But it's interesting that they do like a take on the manic pixie dream girl romance, and then at the end, he's like, but I'm still gonna like, I'm still going with my brother. I know he's a rapist and a murderer, but like, I'm still with the dudes. That to me really like solidifies it. See these manic pixie dream girl male protagonists, like they're not shit. Like they are using the manic pixie dream girl to feel something.
Right. But
when push comes to shove, they're like, but I'm still like the guy. Like,
yes,
it's my stuff is more important than you.
Yes. I feel like it's if the specific rut that we're talking about is this like polarization between like the sort of like awful masculinity of Maverick and this sort of anti-patriarchal, murdering toxic men, like world of Ash, right? Like I feel like kind of the way this movie is defining like the rut that the man is in is this like weird, muddy, in between dimension of masculinity that he is kind of playing with.
Well, he's just like doesn't feel anything unless someone is like, "Do you want to do this like the most extreme thing in the world?" Like he just kind of goes through life, and he's like, when he's on a date with a normal person, he does like you can't pay attention. He doesn't feel anything until. Right. Someone is like, I am a cannibal. And he's like, I'm obsessed with this. I love this. And then he finds out his brother is a murderer and a rapist. And he's like, well, he's my brother. Like he does not have, there's nothing filling him out at all. Unless somebody's like, because he could have easily met someone who you know, isn't a murderer, but they skydive. He's like, hell, I'll skydive. Sure. Like it's just, there's nothing to him. So he just happens to be like, you make me feel something, I'll do whatever. I think getting out of your rut is not, I'll do whatever.
Yeah. So he's a character kind of drawn to some kind of extreme, like whatever it is kind of what you're saying, Vinny?
Well, in the sense that like he's like he kind of just goes along with it because there's nothing to him. He's like an empty shade of a human being.
Yeah,
he's like
for sure.
Like a murder outline. You know, there's nothing filling him in. So that's why. That's kind of what the trope of the manic pixie dream girl is like the color that fills in this drab man. And I think what those older movies wanted you to do is like, it's really valiant how he started like showering again and like how he started like, you know, he listened to a song that made him like go to a job or interview. That's like so valiant. Right. So I think that's what they're playing with is like, they're like, oh, like he's trying, he's going out on a limb. He's trying love. He's doing crazy things. It's just those crazy things happen to be, you know, felonies and murder and cannibalism. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so we were talking about the manic pixie dream girl and the things that fill him out. And I know I said that she's toxic. I don't know if she's toxic or if it's a toxic relationship.
Yeah,
is how I see it. And her kind of getting him addicted, if you will. So my question is, how do you feel about the movie's portrayal of addiction, and is it saying anything new or interesting with that theme?
I'm still like on the fence about how I feel about this decision in this movie, but it's interesting that they turn cannibalism, they basically turn it into vampirism. They're like once you start eating people, you can't stop. You like need to keep eating people, which vampire movies are all at some level about addiction because it's just about an insatiable need for something. So I think it's interesting to be like, this isn't a vampire movie. It's about cannibalism, but you do keep needing to eat people or else you'll die. But also he's addicted to her, and also he's addicted to feeling something, the thrill of this thing. So I think when you ask, is it doing anything interesting? It's always interesting when you know you're using horror to delve into like that need you can't get away from.
Yeah, totally.
With this one, it's like I'm not quite sure which one is the metaphor because they're all the metaphor. And you know, I almost feel like making it into vampire, like making it basically like you're addicted to the cannibalism itself, is less interesting than if they had just been like, he's so addicted to this toxic relationship that he's choosing to do the cannibalism. It kind of like lets him off the hook a little bit by being like, he's got to keep eating people. And he happens to know a cannibal, so he's going to keep doing that. Yeah. They had the metaphor of being in this relationship that you can't get away from and being sort of you can be addicted to a person. And you know, when he first shows back up at her door, she says like, oh, you got it bad. I thought that's an interesting thing is like, it's less interesting that it's literal. He's literally like, I have to keep eating people. It would be more interesting. He's like, I have to come back here even though I know that you're going to make me, like, I know you're going to make me kill and eat people, but I'm so addicted to the way you make me feel. And it's not mixed metaphors. It's like three parallel metaphors, all of them for addiction. And I find that muddying the waters just a little bit, even though each one is valiant in its own way.
Yeah, and when I wrote that question and thought about addiction, I was like, it's also about like obsession as a theme in a way.
Infatuation.
Yeah, and I like the idea of the vampirism because I was thinking like literal, like, you know, heroin type drug type thing, because like she gets him addicted, and then he goes through withdrawal like in the bathroom because he doesn't have human meat. But he does also, if we're talking about like him addicted to her, when he like runs away after having sex for the first time with her, he looks like he's going through withdrawal. Like he looks
Yeah.
fucking awful in the bedroom scene with his brother. I think I'm not sure what it's saying or doing with it. I definitely don't always love the drug addiction in horror movie. Drug addiction, the drug metaphor
Yeah.
in horror movies. This one didn't really bother me, but I wasn't 100% sure exactly if it was saying anything
Yeah.
about it either, or like, is it just that he's addicted to her because she's the manic pixie girl and he like needs her to like fuel his life and make it better? I'm not really sure.
I think that this is a movie that is using a lot of the like visual language of addiction, but that it's not really taking like the topic of addiction as like a topic that it's really discussing. To me, it makes it much more, because also like he does eat people meat very early in the movie. He eats those
Yes.
tacos, and that's
Yeah.
obviously people, and he likes it a lot. And he's like, "This is so juicy," or he's more like, "This is so juicy," because like he mumbles every single thing he says.
He's a mumbly boy. It is.
Yeah.
There's no denying that he mumbles.
But he really likes it, and I wondered what you all feel like. Sorry, I'm just gonna like
No,
totally pivot to my another
that's
question of
fine.
mine, which is what do you think about this movie and the eating of meat as symbolism or metaphor, especially thinking about the sort of interesting world of like sexual politics that it seems to be playing with, right? Like we've got this sort of like fetish mukbang cam girl, this whole world that it kind of seems to be operating in and trying to say something about. I wonder if any of you had any thoughts on that.
First of all, that shit looked good. I did learn that the director of this film was a food photographer, so I'm not surprised that that she knew how to frame the food. I do think it's interesting that, and again, this kind of goes back to the idea that it's like this movie had almost a couple targets, and because of that, was hitting. The fact that it's centered around the concept of mukbang, which I was not familiar with.
Me too.
before.
I had to
either.
learn that it was a real thing.
Yeah. Same.
Which is so interesting. It almost feels like it's not central enough to the movie, which is I think is interesting because it's the title of the movie, and she is a cannibal. But the fact that she's doing it for other people never quite comes into like clear picture as to like, because the other thing is like they're also saying there's the addiction to attention, like they have that conversation where he's sort of like, or she says like, what's more embarrassing, the people who do the mukbang or the people who watch it? It's that idea of like, why would you eat food on the internet for other people? So it's like another thing the movie is touching on but doesn't quite want to like grasp onto. So the whole thing about it almost just felt like it was A to B jump of like, I want to make a cannibal movie and mukbang is about eating. It never really solidified like what is the like core thing I'm saying with the fact that she eats people. Because it's like one thing to have like the avenging angel type archetype where she murders rapists and stuff like that. Which this movie really could be. And it never quite crosses the line to be like, and here's why she eats people. Make the second jump, and here's why she eats people on the internet. It's just this soup of ideas of like the attention economy, addiction, obsession, all that stuff. Because it's not just like solidifying into one thing, I think it makes the point it's trying to make just too clean. It's like if you want to put addiction metaphor on it, yes, she really needs to eat people. That I guess that is what addiction feels like. It never quite says a clear thing about all these points, but it's making all these points at the same time.
But I do think that the mukbang. Okay, so ignoring the title, just the fact that she is
Impossible.
a mukbanger, as they say, she is an influencer, and I think it's also partially like, what would be the cool manic pixie girl job to have today in this day and age? And I think it would be an influencer, because he's like a customer service rep, which is boring. I have done that job. It is boring. The conversation he was having on the phone, yeah, that's exactly what it would be all day long. So it's like she has this really cool job. Like it's like she's a writer. He even says it. She's like a writer, a producer, a
Yeah.
director,
Yeah.
cook. It's like, ooh, it's like it's magical to him. And I think that is important. I think we do know why she eats people. And I think I don't fully believe that it's like a hunger that she has. I don't really love that as a narrative, but that whole little section we have where we learn her backstory with how like her sister was killed or
Right, right,
whatever,
right, right.
and she eats the guy. I think it was like her first moment of revenge of killing and eating a man that was like who was awful and awful to her and her sister. And I think by her, the first moment by biting off his dick, I think it's a reference to Last House on the Left, where the parents essentially do that. So back to Grindhouse, and I do think it's a moment of like she's taking his manhood and like eating it, and it's like I am taking your power. I think that's what's happening there, and that's why she continues to eat the men.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true, and I that's kind of where I'm absolutely on the movie side, and it almost felt like it didn't trust itself enough to just be that very because there's those moments where like they're at the restaurant their first date and she's like being meaner because she hasn't eaten in a while. It's like it keeps adding this like hint of like it's not quite supernatural, it's not fully to the realm of that. But that very human explanation you just gave is like the most interesting version of this movie. And it kept
Definitely.
and I think it's honestly like a very clever, smart movie whenever it's straying towards
Yeah.
that. It's like it just kept adding these little hints of like, but the hunger is on. That I'm like, it's much more interesting when it's a little more messy than that, which is what you're saying is that it's a very like deeply seated thing she's doing.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
she's and I'm sure if you asked her directly, she might not give that clean an answer. So it feels like it's compulsive, but that's coming from the trauma that you just described. It's that is interesting.
Yeah.
And she probably can't say it because of the trauma. I also didn't read it as her really being hangry in the restaurant. I read it as like
She's mad to be
that's
at a
what she's
vegetarian
telling.
restaurant.
Well, no, no, but that's what she's telling him. But really, and this part, the second time I watched it, I need to know what you guys think of it, but we may have to do it when we hit critique. But when she's in the restaurant, I think she's angry because she knows somebody else is there that's going to see her and interrupt it, and she cares more about her missions than she cares about him. But I also was like, why is he there?
Yeah.
That part kind of conflicted. And then the part when they're in the park, I was like, have they been together before? It seems like they have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's a side note, but
No, I think that's extremely fair. I think that's when we talk about these low budget sort of sake movies, that is sort of probably like a matter of necessity. They're like, well, we only have this restaurant location for so long. We
Right,
need to,
right.
and, yeah, but it's interesting because then you get to watch the way the movie navigates its own shortcomings, and I think it kind of can be read a few different ways, and I think that is just it's a matter of the limitations. But I do think it's interesting that while this what is essentially the courting period of this manic pixie dream girl type story, she's also like absolutely eyes on someone else. She's like which is like not at all. I think that's when the movie sort of maybe starts to tip its hat towards like it's doing a bit more than you think it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, definitely.
Where this quirky first date, she has her eyes everywhere but him, and it's like, oh right, like he is kind of boring. It's just that
Truly.
reminder of like she has this vibrant, crazy life, and he's now intruding on it instead of the focus being on him. She's like, I'm trying to have like a story here. Like I'm trying to I'm trying to have a plot, and you're getting in the way of like my plot. And I think that's really interesting.
If I can make a probably a straggling attempt to kind of connect some things that have been said that I find really fascinating to sort of like the larger question I had here about like the internet and like women who kind of like self-sexualize on the internet and stuff like that. Something that I found really resonant about this movie as a straight dude who has talks to a lot of other straight dudes. I don't know why straightness is a part of this, but for some reason it is. About like OnlyFans and other things that I totally see the sort of like mukbanging as like a just kind of like an extension of like sort of that, right? Like there's obviously something kind of fetishistic and sexual about the mukbang, right? Like I mean,
I think so. I don't know. It's a South Korean thing.
at
Does
least the way
anyone
he's
remember?
I
engaging
mean, I
with it.
think it's one of those things where it's like if you on paper, no,
Okay.
but
But it
like,
seems right.
but
Like, come on,
you know,
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like you watch and you're like, oh well, yes. The
right,
answer
It's
is
like a
exactly,
foot fetish,
exactly,
right? Like
yeah,
you're like
yeah.
watching videos of
yeah.
people's feet. Like,
What I find kind of interesting and provocative, and I feel a lot of different ways about with this movie, is that it illustrates for us that a person who engages in mukbanging has done so directly because of the actions of like a violent man, right? It's almost like this man or patriarchy itself has like kind of imparted this thing to her, and I feel complicated about that, right? Because like on the one hand, I feel like people who engage in that kind of stuff on the internet, who want to make that kind of content, maybe they just want to make that content, right? But there's also like an overwhelming portion of the sort of like male population who wants to attribute it to like some kind of damage.
I think that's I think that's just men putting their own fantasies right on it. Because
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't think that the women who do those videos are damaged. You know, I think that there's a stigma if you're doing like OnlyFans or because it's a type of, I guess, what, like sex worker in a
Yeah,
way.
kind of.
But I often don't. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people, so who knows what trauma people have. But
Yeah.
for the most part, don't think people are doing it because of
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, so it's the whole thing of like they probably wouldn't exist or grow at the rate it did if there weren't people watching it. But we
Right.
reserve all of our. I mean, this movie even touches on it. We reserve all of our like judgment for the people making it. I think that's really interesting. That like, you know, I think Mark even tells his awful, awful brother, you know, she's an influencer, and I think, you know, if he had told her she does mukbang, he'd be like, that's disgusting. She's a
Well, he
disgusting
did.
person, and he's a murderer.
Yeah,
So
he's
it's like
a literal murderer.
we reserve all the judgment for the people making the content, but they're making the content because it is enough to sustain a career because there's such an audience for it.
Yeah.
And we don't really judge those people in the same way.
No, I don't think that we should judge the people that do it either.
No.
On like those, you know, I don't know. Would they be influencers? I don't really know. But
That's all a type of
I'm
influencer.
in my 40s. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That just means you can use that word however you want.
Oh, okay, cool. I've hit that age.
Yeah, yeah. Just as like a follow-up thought too, I do think that there maybe is something to this idea that like patriarchal society teaches women that its only value is sexuality. And so part of what people object to is the fact that women have found a way to monetize that, right? And turn that into like actual economic power.
Yeah, because she says that she's sponsored
Right,
by
exactly.
the food thing that he does, whatever or whatever,
Exactly.
you know, Yellow Mitten or whatever it's
Yellow
called.
mitten, yeah, and I think it connects back to what you're talking about, Jen, where you talk about like the biting off of that dude's dick as like in like kind of a symbolic sense, right? Like a taking
Yeah.
of his power.
I mean, I think that's why there's that actual moment of genuine connection is that moment you mentioned before when he says, you know, she sort of shyly admits what she does, and he says, "No, you're a producer, right, a director." And I think that is probably the first moment of actual connection because it's like most people she tells that probably is not so complimentary about it. They're probably
Right.
like, "That's disgusting," but to
Right.
be like, "No, that's actually," he says, "I could never do that," and I think that's the recognition of the fact that it is something of worth, you know, even though the society definitely does not feel that way, but that it is something, it is providing a service of some kind. And I think that a recognition of that is that probably that first moment of connection there of like, oh wow, most people I tell that to are disgusted or angry, like you said, just like because I'm doing it. To recognize that it takes some kind of skill and technical know-how and entrepreneurship is a real thing.
Yeah, and I think he admires her confidence in it too, because he's, you know, I mean, obviously he admires a lot about her because he's essentially a blank canvas. But like, I think he sees that like she is confident to be able to do those things too,
Yeah.
and technically running her own business.
Yeah, I think him being impressed is like 100% genuine, and I think that's like totally in line with that character. Like, because I get the sense that he's someone who doesn't have a ton of ambition, but like is impressed by it. So he's genuinely like, wow, that's really impressive, and he means it. Like, it's not a blank canvas talking. He's like, I can't even fathom like starting a YouTube channel. So like the fact that you did it is genuinely impressive, and I think that, yeah, I mean, that's the character at its most interesting to
Yeah.
me.
But I don't
Yeah.
want to make them like I feel like it's a mistake to say that he actually adm- admires her, right, as a person. Like I think that he wants her to be his manic pixie dream girl, right? He wants
Yeah.
her to be this mukbanger. He doesn't want because and maybe to touch back on my earlier question about manic pixie dream girl, I actually feel like she plays with again the sort of like tropes and stereotypes of that, but she's not actually that
Yeah.
because she has a backstory. She has reasons for why she does what she does, which is like in terms
Mhm.
of like the definition of manic pixie dream girl, that's not what that is. So yeah, so I think that maybe something that this movie does really successfully is convince us that he is like something other than this kind of shallow dude who wants a manic pixie dream girl.
What I found really interesting the second time is noticing that like once he finds out, her secret and stuff, she's not overly nice to him for like the rest of the movie, or like not even that she like. I feel like the classic way it would go is her being like, no, 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 like I understand you're scared, but she's like, this is what I do,
Yeah, yeah.
and she's like guiding him through it, but like not in a nice like that scene. Like, it's like a long conversation scene after he finds out that she kills people, and they're in her like dungeon morgue, whatever she has in her basement, and she's like explaining why, and it's not she's not making him feel better. She's
Hmm.
literally like, get in or get out, but like this is what I do. And I think that is like a real breaking open moment for this movie is she's not particularly interested in him being comfortable for the second half of the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that is the exact opposite of what a manic pixie dream girl would do. She's like,
Hmm.
look, man, this I'm gonna keep doing this. Like, if you don't like it, that's too bad. It's not a come gently into my world. It's a this is my world. This is
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you both 100%. And I do think it's almost like she uses the manic pixie girl image to like lure him
Mm.
in, or not even lure him in. It's probably maybe the persona that she puts out into the world, so that it kind of is a mask for who she really is. Because she is kind of a dick once she's not nice to him. You're right. She's like, no, this is what I do, and it's because of this fucking shit that happened to me as a kid. She has depth, which I feel like Harry, like you were saying, like the backstory, they don't often have that or ever. I don't know if any
Right.
of them do.
Yeah, especially the first time, that was like hard to get on the movie's wave because I think just in general, like, oh, it's a horror romance, so you think it's gonna be some way, and it was hard to calibrate the fact that it's like she's being really mean to him, like, like and it's not kind of the movie I thought it was gonna be, and that's just a way more interesting movie.
Yeah.
Like then you're like, oh, like you said, the first 20 30 minutes of the movie, you have to then realize is like, what was she putting on? What you go back and watch it, you're like, what was real, what was fake, what was a
Yeah. Yeah.
persona? Which I don't think when you hear the words cannibal mukbang, you're like, this movie rewards rewatches. But like for me, it really did. Like it
Yeah.
did take me off the rails the first time I saw it, and I had to get back on. It's nice to watch it knowing what it is.
Should we do some critique then? Yeah, no, for me there are some parts of this movie that I absolutely love. It is also like it's interesting because this feels like a movie that was made for me. Like, I'm not trying to say I see myself in this movie, but as I mentioned, I'm a songwriter. I've been working on a concept record that is essentially this movie. I've been working on it for the past 4 months.
So wait, is it about manic pixie girls and cannibalism?
It's like, how specifically? Like, is mukbanging involved?
It's
like,
about fucked up. It's about fucked up masculinity, and
Okay.
like I was literally going to call it Manic Pixie Dream, and it's about fucked up masculinity and the sort of like archetypes that men place on women in their lives.
Oh my God.
And
Now you need to write a song about this movie.
I know, and I see so much of it in this movie, so I'm gonna have to like throw it all. It's kind of frustrating because it's a little bit like, well,
I mean,
fuck,
everything's been done before.
That's true.
So we've never had a Cannibal mukbang from you. Like it's just like what's your version?
What's
of it?
my
I mean,
Cannibal mukbang?
What's your version of cannibalism?
It is funny how movies come along when you need them, or you'll watch a movie and be like, I was thinking this exact thought.
Sure.
It's interesting, and it's kind of what I do really admire this movie, because you don't expect to have this level of conversation or personal interest in a movie that is essentially a modern grindhouse B movie called The Cannibal Mukbang. But I think it presents itself in these trappings to do exactly what it did to us, clearly, and like lull you into a false sense of security, or not even a sense of security, like a false sense of like knowing what it's about.
Right.
And then zigging and zagging in ways that is much more clever than it itself knows you think it wasn't going to be.
Yeah, it's not really a predictable movie all the way through, even though there were things I thought were going to happen and it was close, but it wasn't that. And I remember this was a movie so Tegan and I were like debating Tegan's my wife, which movie we were going to watch. And we were like, okay, so what we do sometimes is we're like, okay, here's 6 movies, here's 6 trailers. We're going to watch these 6 trailers and see what happens. And I was like, I want to watch the Cannibal Mukbang trailer because it was on like a list. And I was like, oh, this looks like, I know how you said it, but I was like, this looks like it's made for me. Like, what is this movie and why have I never heard of it? And it did not look in the trailer like it should be called Cannibal Mukbang. Like visually, and I was just so fascinated by that choice. And I do love that it's not 100% predictable the whole time. Like I knew the brother was going to be involved some way at the end, but I really didn't expect it to go the way it went.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel that way too? Just about the ending, just curious.
I was genuinely shocked that he sided because like you're right, like they basically told the brother actor to be like, play this as like the biggest piece of shit. Like the fact that he was revealed to be like a crowd, I was like, oh well, yeah, like,
Yeah,
of course.
I was like, oh,
but,
you're like a
but the
frat
decision to have, like we've been saying this whole time, essentially this take on this look at Manic Pixie Dream Girl male protagonist, to have him at the end make that choice is incredibly bold. And then you rewatch the movie and you're like, but it's totally in line with what the movie was doing. I just wasn't ready for it the first time. And I think that really makes the movie, because there's a less interesting version where, they sort of ride off as Bonnie and Clyde and they're like the cannibal couple. And it's like, that's nice. That's sweet. That's really nice. But that would go against the surprising movie that this is.
Yeah.
And I think that ending makes the movie.
I agree, and it would have been honestly, if that had been the ending, it would have ruined it for me a little bit, because I just don't see it as reality. Like I think that men who are sort of deciding where their allegiances lie between like toxic masculinity and like a feminism or like an anti-patriarchal worldview are going to go down the slide and end up in toxic masculinity world. Maybe that's just like my own natural pessimism. But I do think that it strikes me as a more realistic ending as well.
I really appreciate I was going back, I think I've kind of alluded to, I was going back and forth on whether I thought Mark was like doing a performance or just like a bad actor. Like I couldn't tell if everything was doing this on purpose. But his delivery of Buddy's family when he lets his brother go is like so perfectly he's like, this is what society tells me I have to. Like he's like, I can't believe I just did that, but I have to because that's my brother. Like it's like 3 things at once, and that was the moment I was like, okay, this guy's like doing a performance. He's not just a bad actor. But I love that. I love that moment of him being like, I had to do this. He's family, and even he's like, that's stupid. What did I do?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Vinny, I felt the same way about the actor who plays Maverick. I thought that
Oh yeah.
I do think that he's like kind of a shoddy actor, but
Oh
I
yeah.
do think that this is one of those magical moments where that shoddiness actually works for it, you
Mhm.
know? And
Because
I'm
it's
like,
so over the top.
and
It's
it's
so
so
ridiculous.
enjoyable, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
to
like his
watch.
brother is just Patrick Bateman, and he's like, that's my
Right,
brother, you know. And
right.
then you like go over to his house and just get berated, and then he's like, that's bro, that's my bro. And
He's
it's
not
just
one of the
you're
bad
right though.
guys.
I mean, it's just that's the magic of any independent movie, you know. It's just like when the short, like I said, like when the shortcomings, when the people you have to cast turn out to be their shoddiness or jankiness, or it works. It works for what you're doing. You use it. You weaponize the shoddiness for your purposes.
Well, and I think what's so notable about it is that, I mean, Jen and I do a ton of indie spotlights. We do
Oh
a
yeah.
ton of like
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
small independent film, giving our honest critiques of it. And like there's a real magic in when the shortcomings are like actually work for it. That is so unbelievably rare, in
It
my
really
opinion.
is because there's like you've also the combination of actors. Like if one is really bad and not in, I don't know, like the fact that like none of them were great, but that all kind of worked in the roles that they were in, it was I don't it was like an indie gem, I feel like.
It's one of like my favorite things about horror in general and showing people stuff is that all these things that spanned like billion-dollar franchises and things started as like kind of janky. Like you watch like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. We were just watching like the first Terminator, and you show it to people who only know it from like cultural osmosis, and they're like, "Is this kind of janky?" Like I didn't, and you're like, "Yeah, but like there's something to it."
Yeah, yeah.
This works, and I think people are always surprised, and I think they're like, "Oh, it's because it's an old movie." It's like, no, it's an independent movie, and
Hmm.
you don't have the sheen of big budget studio stuff. They're using what they have to use, but there's almost like that indie magic of like everybody there was using creativity because they had to. And I think that that's something that's very apparent in horror. It's indie horror. That's what makes indie horror so great is that it's like lends itself to where I keep using the word janky, but like the jankiness
Mhm.
like works for the tone it's trying to set. I think that's been true of horror since the actual grindhouse days.
It does. And I think that like because this movie was like mirroring parts of Grindhouse,
Yes.
it also worked really well. I was also really intrigued that this was the director's, I think, first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the lighting was pretty good.
Mhm.
Like there were a lot of things for an indie film where I was like, oh, okay. Like I love the little like moment in the middle. Like I know I mentioned it before about her backstory. I love that it's silent and that it's like almost like on to meant like what look like 35 millimeter or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so clever that we're getting almost like a little fairy tale in the middle. So I was like, oh, I hope that she continues to make more because I always love like more women horror directors. But yeah, I was like, for somebody's first film, it's not bad. Like it was pretty good. And the fact that we've had so much to say about it too, because we've definitely reviewed indie spotlights where we're like, cool.
Yeah, looks cool. Like
Yeah,
like
they had a
like
great
yeah,
camera.
yeah. Apparently that was I mean I just was like apparently that was the actress's real sister who played her
Oh,
sister
Oh.
in the movie. There's a ton of other interesting stuff. There's just pure indie movie stuff like that. Apparently the whole like the tent scene, like the where she like makes a pillow fort or
Yeah.
whatever, which is
yeah.
like pure manic pixie dream girl, was like supposed to take place on a roof. They couldn't get up on a roof. They're like, well, we'll put a tent in a backyard. It rained, so they're like, let's just build a tent for it. And they're like again, they're like, well, that actually is way more interesting and like totally in line with what we're trying to do. It's like, oh, we're playing with the manic pixie dream girl character. What would she do, or how would she present herself to Mark? Oh,
Hmm.
look, I built a pillow for it. So it's one of those things where these happy accidents add up, and you hope they add up into something good. They don't always add up into
No, they
something
definitely
good,
don't.
but
That's very true.
as you guys know very well, they occasionally don't add up at all. But when they do, it is that like that woo woo thing of like our movie's just like the best. Just like
Yeah, totally,
our movie's
totally.
just magic. Like yeah, it's that's the kind of that's what I love about independent film
Yeah.
in general.
Do we want to
Anyway.
rate it?
Yeah.
It's tough because I feel like we're living through the like letterboxification of society where like halfway through people are like, "Oh, you hated it," but I think this movie is like a dead solid like 6 out of 10, which I think people would be like, "So you don't think it's good?" I'm like, "No, it's incredibly solid." And when you look at its production and its first time director, like a 6 out of 10, pretty good. I mean, I know that's like a failing grade in school, but like,
But it's whatever it means to you.
yeah,
So,
I think the majority of movies I watch are a 6 out of 10, which is like, which is good. I think to think that every movie is a 9 to 10 out of 10 or a 1 to 2 out of 10 is, most movies are pretty good, and I think that that's great. I think if I watched 3 6 out of 10s a week, pretty good week. I watched
Yeah.
some good. This is a movie that I watched again willingly. It is whatever the rating equivalent is of like just a rock solid B, like just just like across the board B, not B minus, not B plus, just
Just
B,
to be. Yeah.
really good.
Can I ask what are some of the things that are preventing it from getting an A?
I mean, I think that there is some, and we touched on it, that a little bit of plot setting in place just out of necessity, like, you know, going on a date to the restaurant where a man you are planning on murdering, and then he's in the park when they stumble upon it. It's just, you feel the limitations, and I think that you can't quite get your feet steady in the first act because of the sort of like the movie doesn't quite accept that it's just like it's kind of a mukbang. He needs to find out, so they're just like, we're gonna put them together. So there is like a bit of the narrative jankiness, and I I found it a little hard to get past just the broadness of the brother. Like I understand that it works once the thing is revealed, but when everyone else is so, it has this sort of like we've been saying, this mumblecore vibe, this real like muted. When literal like Patrick Bateman walks in, it feels like it's not in the right in the right movie. It makes sense, but the movie's doing such a good job of almost doing this like dreamy, mumbly thing, and then to have like like slick back hair, suspenders man walk in with like a big cigar, and it's like, I can take a trope, obviously, but I don't understand why this man would want to hang out with his brother. I think that what you're doing is putting a placeholder on the table so that later on when he says, I have a date, you can be like, is it with her? And then it is with her. It feels much like the whole restaurant thing, much like the thing in the park. It feels like I can see the table setting.
okay, so I really like this movie. I think the ending is something that I kept thinking about. Her stabbing like him with an axe and then crying over him, and the fact that the movie ends there. Endings are so fucking important to me. I was like, that's brilliant, because I know I have a mix of emotions at the end. I watched it the first time and I was like, I don't know what rating I would give this. I wavered back and forth, and honestly, I think I'm gonna. Oh God, I waver. I'm like, do I want to give it? Do I want to give it as high as an 8? I don't know.
I guess my question would be like, what's another movie you would give an 8 to? And would you put that
That's a
movie
great
next? Would you,
question.
and if you had like a shelf in your house, would you proudly display Cannibal Mukbang next to that movie?
Oh yeah, because it's a cool poster.
Well, yeah,
I
I just know
mean, we have
that
trash in
aesthetically,
our
yes.
house.
But like,
We
could
bought
it
a
live on
fucking.
could it live on the 8 shelf with another movie you would give an 8 to?
What the fuck else have I given 8s to?
I don't know. I gave an 8 to Barbarian.
I think you're right. I think I maybe gave an 8 to Barbarian, or an 8.5. So I'm going to give this a 7.5 because I do think it's not something that I've never given anything a 10, just to be clear. I've given 2 movies 9s.
What did you give 9s to?
Oh my God. You're going to laugh at me.
Get ready.
Skinamarink
Okay.
and have you
No,
not seen it?
I have seen Skinamarink. I think Skinamarink is one of those movies where 95% of it is like the environment you watch it in.
Yes.
And I watched it
Yep.
alone
Yep.
at night in my apartment, and I was so scared. Like
Yes.
and like if I was to watch it today, I'd be like, this sucks. Like I'd be like, this is terrible. But like
I
because
watched it like 3 times.
if it meets you at the right moment, and you're like locked into, if you're able to like engage with it as it's supposed to be engaged with, I thought about that movie for a long time.
It's
And
funny. That movie was the first fucking movie that we did on the podcast, and I feel like it comes up more than it should because I gave it a 9. Um, but I think I know the other one I gave a 9
We love to
to.
dredge it up for Jen.
I think it was Bring Her Back
Oh, that movie is
because I
excellent,
loved
though.
that. I rate
yeah,
things based on my like. I don't think about the rest of the world or if it's actually a good movie or not. So it's just based on what I would rate it. So I do think Cannibal Mukbang is a 7.5 for me.
yeah,
But
love
yeah,
that.
Harry, what would you rate it?
I want to give it an 8.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
So let me make this clear
I
though.
was
Like,
gonna say I need some context. I need some of your
so
rating.
I gave movies like Barbarian an 8, and
Did you give Late Night with the Devil an
yeah,
8
I think I
maybe?
gave Late Night with the Devil an 8. And I want to be clear that I don't think that this is necessarily as competent a movie as those things. And I'm not trying to say that the filmmakers are incompetent, but I think that, like, when a movie is done, after all the many things that have to go into a movie and all the varying factors and all the, people who have to interact, like, a movie can seem competent or not, right? And so, like, I feel like this movie has things that feel like they are not hitting or not making it. I think it's, like, overly long at times. Like, that I also wasn't a huge fan of that whole vegetarian restaurant sequence. But I love a lot of what this movie is doing. I think that there is something really special in the sort of like shitty but good but shitty quality to a lot of it, right? I think a lot of it is probably on purpose because of the sort of like grindhouse influence. I think some of it is just pure magic, place and time. It just happened to be that way, and it worked out well for it. And I love the subject matter, dude. I think the subject matter is so interesting. This is also, again, like a movie that I think is a little bit talking to me about a lot of the things that I'm thinking about. Yeah, man, this movie just really hit for me.
I think that, and I wanted to get her name right, April Consolo, who
Oh
plays
yeah, the one
Ash.
that
I
played
thought she was like pretty
I
incredible
thought she
in
was
this movie.
good. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like, and I think that's so key. That turn she does at like the halfway point, where she stops holding his hand, is like so much performance, and
Yeah.
like the fact that she does not, she sort of like morphs. You like see the manic pixie dream girl mask like be taken off. That is such an effective line to cross or to walk. I think that she's genuinely incredible. I feel like I needed to shout that out.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of my very strong 6, which is a very strong score, is on her, and I think that a lot of this movie is on her.
Something else I'd like to mention that we haven't mentioned yet. I think this soundtrack fucking rules.
Yes.
Love the
It,
songs in this
okay.
movie.
I legit have already gone on Spotify and like looked up the Cannibal Mukbang bang playlist,
Do you
which
have
to be
it?
fair, the soundtrack's not on there, but somebody made it because I
Okay.
was like, what are these songs?
Can you send it? Send me a screen. I don't have
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
Spotify,
I
but
mean,
send
I'm
it to
literally
the
just
group.
send me a
googling it
screenshot
now.
because I too
Oh
went
yeah.
looking for it and cannot find it on
Well,
Apple Music or
there
anything else.
is no, and I tried to Google the last song, and it came up with AI was like, it's this, and it's
Yeah.
not. So yeah, do you want me to just t text you guys the link from
I
Spotify? Would you
very
like
much
that?
want that.
Yeah, I
This
want
song,
it for sure.
To be
this,
fair,
this
it's only like 5 or 6 songs, so
That's
it's
great.
not
totally
the whole
fine.
No,
They're
that's
thing.
probably
perfect.
all
Okay.
bangers. Yeah, this is an incredible.
Yeah.
And I do like
Mhm.
it's sort of, it has that it follows out of
Yes.
time. Like
Yes.
there
Yeah.
is no, it could be any era. It's a very specific thing, but also a very general thing. I thought of it follows a lot watching this because I was like, this could be the 90s. It could be the 70s. It could be now.
Yep.
Yes,
It's
I
all of
thought
those
that
things.
too.
It has to be now because his therapist is on Skype,
It's
on
Yeah.
Zoom.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's it.
Hmm.
Who's the hottest in this movie?
You guys are gonna fucking. I know who I think,
Go
and
ahead.
it's wild. Because on
It's not
track
Maverick.
record,
You're not gonna say Maverick.
no, God, no. Okay,
That
that
would
would
be
be.
wild.
That would be the only
No,
true wild answer here. I mean,
That's
not
it.
the only one, but
I feel like based on my track record, it should be Ash, but it's actually Mark.
What? Get the fuck
I
out of here!
Yeah, I think he's hot.
I think
my
he's
choice.
like a solid 6 out of 10. Like if I had to rate him, I'd give him a solid B on the hotness.
Jen,
I mean, there's
You guys are both so disappointed.
just
Jen, I've never told you that you're wrong for this segment before. But you're fucking wrong. I'm sorry.
I mean,
So no, here, let's have it out though.
each his own.
Why is he hot?
He's like, okay, she's too skinny for me. I need some like meat on the bones. Like, she's not curvy enough. He's got curves. He's a little curvy. I like that. So
A little tushy.
yeah, I'm into that.
And
that's why.
He's very sensitive, and he's
I do like the sensitive.
He's a sweet boy.
I don't like the passiveness that much though.
Yeah.
So it's just more looks, not personality.
I mean, it's tough to even have this conversation when there's someone like at the center of the movie whose like job is to be like so hot, like all the wonderful things we said about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Like there is the part of it. It's like, but also they're like so hot, and it's like, and
I'm a boobs girl. There's no boobs.
It is an extremely fair thing. I mean,
I'm getting canceled.
Because this movie introduced me to the idea of the mukbang, and because we were like, is it a sexual thing? I was like, it is kind of sweet to like watch her eat a hamburger. Look, I'm not gonna fully on the record go down the rabbit hole of mukbanging, but it's like sometimes you see the appeal. So it's like, who's the hottest in this movie? Maybe it's specifically her doing the mukbang.
Wow. All right.
Who's to say? I mean,
I have what I feel is kind of the only answer.
There is no there's not one answer. You know that.
That's
you
what
know the
makes
hottest can
the
be
world go
anything.
round.
We've had inanimate objects picked for the hottest.
That's true. I'm gonna pick Jenny the secretary, who he goes on one brief date with.
Oh my god!
That poor girl.
And she is stuffing chips into her face. She interrupts herself by saying, "I gotta pee." She takes literally 4 seconds in the bathroom, and then she grabs another round on the way back from the bathroom. I'm in love. That's like that.
They're at like a dive bar eating chips. She comes back with 2 tall, dirty martinis.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to know more about your life.
Yeah. Right. And he's just like, I'm sort of with somebody else. And I'm just like,
That's interesting. That's an interesting.
She is
interesting
hotter
answer.
than Ash.
way hotter. Way hotter.
I agree.
Most people
forgot
are.
about her.
And she does. I mean, she also is housing chips. There's a mukbang element to every person.
But what's interesting is that like it's made to look like ugly on her.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's not attracted to the way that she eats those chips, whereas he is attracted to the way that Ash eats those meatballs. And so like there's also like
those meatballs were pretty hot. Like when
they
they
look really good. Yeah, they do.
Like I mean, I didn't know inanimate objects were on the table, but like
That's
a
actually
lot of
great
the food.
point.
A lot of the food in this movie is pretty hot.
I mean, this movie does it. It makes you very hungry because the food looks really fucking good.
Yeah. She's like, these meatballs are so juicy, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are juicy. Aren't they?
Oh my god!
Can I ask a really uncomfortable question with this game?
Yeah, I feel like we're there. So yeah.
If you had to eat human meat, how would you have it? Like
In a burger.
Yeah,
you'd have like a human burger.
Burger that is wider, not taller, not smashed, no toppings. That sounds good. That sounds good to me. With a medical professional on standby.
But that's just because of you and your history.
There's nothing to do with the making of the food. I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, any ground up. You don't want to see it. Like you're not just gonna gnaw on a foot.
It gets rid of the texture. Like you don't want any textures or
it
weird.
It needs
like,
to no longer be in the shape of the body part it is.
Right,
just grind it up. Grind it up into anything. Like sure. Like whatever. I don't have to know. It's fine. And like I said, a lot of the food in this movie looks incredible. And you're like, you ask the question of if you didn't know what it was and you tasted it and it was good, would you want to know?
Yeah.
Does it matter? I think burger is the way to go.
Do you think that human meat actually would taste superior to
No, probably just tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken.
Superior?
Yeah. Well, like every this is a total trope of like not a trope, but like a feature of movies that involve cannibalism is like the human meat's like so much better,
There's
right?
no
Like,
going back. There's no going
yeah,
back once you
yeah.
have human meat.
No, I don't think
You
so.
don't think so? You think it tastes like
No.
chicken, Jen?
I don't know what it tastes like, but wouldn't it depend on the human?
I was just gonna say, I think it depends on the
Maybe the
person.
cut.
You know,
Yeah.
like there's good
Yeah.
steak, there's bad steak, there's cheap burgers, there's good burgers. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
mean
think
it's
what
like
makes meat taste the way it does is like a couple
and also age, like veal, baby cow, I'm gonna say it, it's delicious. And then
delicious.
old cow is great too. Like adult cow is delicious too. But what would be better with humans, children or adults?
Do children taste best? Who's to say? It's really only some people know the answer to that question. I don't know what to tell you.
So sometimes on this show we have guests who we pick because they have some experience in the subject matter of the film.
It's actually well, it's funny you say that because I was looking at your feed and I noticed that I was like, oh, you had an Irish historian for Sinners, you
Right.
had two Lovebirds for, and I was like, did you do that for me?
Well, Jen was like,
I meant to mention that before. I was like, are they themed, and why am
Not
I on,
always.
and why am I on Cannibal?
They're literally not always themed. Honestly,
Okay,
I
no
asked
offense
him.
taken whatsoever.
but Jen was really enthusiastic about having you, for obvious reasons. Probably because she loves you and you're a wonderful human. You're obviously a great hang. But also, she didn't really tell me why she was so adamant to have you, and so there was like a 30% chance of me wanting for you to be like, well, I've actually tasted human meat
Hi,
before.
my name's Vinny. My name's Vinny. I'm a cannibal mukbang. I'm professional. My professional job is cannibal mukbang.
Oh my god.
Woo. All right. All right. Well, Vinny, the last thing we ask our participants to do for us is provide for us a sound bite, which will be the last thing the listener hears. It can be anything in the world you want. It can be related to the film. It can be not related to the film. Up to you.
Wider, not taller.
Okay, that's
Perfect.
perfect.